And Brock, thank you, Calgary, Agile, and Brock, for giving me this opportunity to talk about my experience regarding the culture and then agility. So yeah, I live in Copenhagen in Denmark, in Europe. So it is almost 2 a.m. So I would just say a good morning, but say no, it's good evening. Good evening, everybody. It's so nice to see you today. So today we should explore a couple of things. I will share my personal experience with two companies. One is a smaller Danish fintech company who decided to scale up their business, and another company, it's a huge old French company who decided to go a little bit more agile way, but thinking more about their behaviors and mindset. Uh, During this session, if you have any questions, I hope my co-host will help me if you put it in the chat. And in the end, I think we will also have a time I will have a time to answer any questions you might have. So, and my expectation is today is that by introducing two models I use that can help me to enable agility or bring more agility in the organization. And some of these tools will be also shared with you. I have already uploaded this presentation in a Google folder, and you will get the QR code in the end, so you can download the presentation as well. Do you have any questions so far? Okay, let's start. When we talk about the culture, there are, as we heard before, different opinions, different understanding, interpretation, and I would like to start with my personal story. When I moved to Denmark from the Croatia 28 years ago, and I knew it loved Denmark way of living and different, cultural stuff. And I thought, okay, I got my first job, one a company, and I was observing in Denmark this rye bread is really, really popular. Uh, People eating rye bread with different toppings during the lunch, especially. And then I was happy and everything. And then I just, took two pieces of the bread and all possible and impossible toppings at the top. And I joined the table and say, people, enjoy your lunch. And one of my colleagues looked at me and said, what are you doing? And I was kind of confused. And what do you mean? No, you are not mixing these different things. There is a rule here, what you are putting on the rye bread. And I was like new in the country. Okay, but where can I read about that? And then he said, no, you're not going. It's just something unwritten. You just learn it. And then he took me to one of the famous Danish restaurants here to introduce me what you are mixing with when eating this rye bread. And that was kind of a cultural shock for me, I would say. And why I'm telling you this story is because when we join organization, we read about their values, maybe their culture, but sometimes maybe we don't really understand what is it all about. There might be some unwritten rules we would like to explore and learn. So today I will show you two cases about culture and understanding the culture before bringing agility. But a little bit short about me. I'm living right now in Denmark. And when I started my career, I was a software developer and especially working a lot of years with the QA, and things needs to be perfect. And it was always my way or no way. But with the time, as I grow and when I got introduced into agility world, I was thinking, okay, this is just making sense for me. All this thinking about inspect and adapt and receiving feedback and learn something new and be curious. I worked in different companies, mainly here in Copenhagen. But let's explore this cultural stuff together. I have a question for you. How would you describe the culture of your current organization? You can also speak. Don't be shy.
I'm not in a work environment right now. I'm personally just doing a personal assistant to, until I can get my job I want. But I would say that what I'm doing right now, I'm self-employed and it's a bit chaotic, but it's just something that, I don't know when I'll be working because it's only when people call me for help. And so that's a bit chaotic. And I like the structure of a corporation better.
Mm. Thank you very much for sharing. Anyone else?
Yeah, Francisco over here. The organization that I work with is its culture is based around 4 basic principles: commitment to customer service, busting silos, meaning one unified front, delivering with expertise, and the other one is quite important. It's taking care of each other like if we were a family. So those pillars are supposed to shape the culture. Whether they are implemented correctly, that's a different story. But it's based on pillars that the organization has set for us to abide by. Does that help?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing. And if I may ask you the next question, when you joined this organization, what was the biggest cultural surprise for you?
Oh, well, Francisco again here. I joined first as a little, let's call it a dry run for a year, the organization, and I fell in love with the culture, right? I had a little bit of time away from them, and then they called me back. And now I'm in a cultural shock because what I experienced with one group is not exactly the same as with the team that I am working with. So what I'm trying to say is that even though the 4 pillars are foundational, their implementation is different on a group by group basis.
Thank you so much for sharing. And for me, when I'm talking, when I'm considering culture and trying to understand organizational culture, then I'm always using Edgar Schein's model. He's one of the godfathers of culture, and he wrote the books about that, so it can be recommended to read. But when we think about organization, there is always some artifact, things what we can see and observe in organization. Then, of course, we have some of these organization values, which might look really nice on the paper, but when we enter into organization, then we see that maybe they are only on the paper, and sometimes organizations are also forgetting to check these values. Are they still valid in this, especially right now with this uncertain and unpredictable environment and the world around us? There are some norms, there are some rules, and so on. And then we have this basic assumption, like things what we are taking for granted. Especially for me, for example, every time when I join a new organization and I ask it, why things are doing this, people say, yep, that's what we have done, for 10 years or 50 years, just do it. And sometimes for me, it's a kind of challenging to accept this. So sometimes I challenge also status quo. Some people like it, some doesn't, but that's just me. But when we are considering organizational culture, we should consider all these three factors, because these three factors actually cause and drive the culture in organization. And by doing that, or considering these three factors, now I will start with the presentation of the first case, which is one Danish fintech company. They started as a startup, and then they wanted to scale up. They hired me to help them with bringing agility in organization. And of course, like everybody, we want to be agile. So, okay. And as many other organizations, they always have some triangles with the different terms and stuff. They wanted to deliver customer fast. Fair enough. All of us want to do that. They want to have a scalable product so they can faster scale the product and deliver customer even faster. But in the same time, they want to have an affordable product so they can get more customers. And I asked them, why agile, how you see that agile fits into it. And the founder and the CTO looked at it and said, therefore we hire you. Okay, fair enough. Then I asked them the question, what needs to happen in this organization that we deliver customer fast, have a scalable and affordable product? And they were kind of confused. Like, what do you mean by that? We want to be agile, but what we need to do? They just stop it and say, okay, you need to help us with this. Okay, therefore you hire me. So, but for me, it was important to understand the culture first. So I did a lot of interviews at the company. Yeah, we were around 100 people, and we had one team in the Dominican Republic. So also this cultural difference between Dominican Republic and Denmark, we also need to understand. But after a couple of interviews, or interviews with the organization, I gathered feedback. And yeah, first one, like, we want to be agile, everybody wants to be there. But then going a little bit deeper, then they didn't have any kind of shared vision where they want to be. All the objectives were unclear. When they want to kind of reach some target, they just reduce the scope. A lot of people didn't even know, what they are doing. Sales was doing something, marketing was doing something else. They were not aligned. Developers were pushed kind of to the end to deliver something fast. And then we have a couple of leaders who were there from the beginning, and they're here, always saving the day, and the rest of the organization was struggling. I said, okay, this is, for me, it was a good starting point. And then I asked them about what is the culture here in organization? What's the values we have in our organization? And the founder and the CEO told me, yes, we are driven by my idea, how we are shaping culture and developing our organization. And if you are maybe older like me, you probably remember Culture Club from 80s. He was big fan of Culture Club and talking about James Bond and Wild Heart, and he loves burgers and everybody should love burgers. I said, okay, but have you talked with our people here? No, I know they know it. Okay, let's explore what kind of culture we wanted to create and what kind of values we want to create in organization. We had a couple of iterations. I already started from there to bring more agility. We ran it 2 weeks iteration or sprints where we simply brainstorm and figure out what we want, where we want to be, how we can shape that culture where agility might fit into it. And after a couple of iterations, we actually defined a set of values, how that company can be recognized. both inside and outside. And as you can see, some of these values here also are linked both to agility or agile values, but also some are related to Scrum values. And for me, that was really great starting point to bringing agility. And all in organization actually understood what do we mean by these values and how we will drive the business by supporting these values. And the next challenge was, okay, now how we can bring agility into organization, because it's not only about the processes or some of these great framework what we are using. There is much more. And then I introduced it to organization this so-called 9-grid model, because when we talk about any change, including bringing agility in organization, it will impact all organization. Not only impact processes like bringing Scrum or less or safe or some other. So we need to consider the whole system in the organization. And when the leadership team discovered it's not only about the processes, then we say, okay, this is a bigger than we thought. It will take 2 months or something. Then we are agile. So actually, we started with this culture, identifying where how agility can help us to reach our goal. And after again couple of iterations more, we actually figure out that it is huge change. It will impact more or less everything in organization. We change it how we are working together, supporting this agility and agile mindset. We decided to use a scaled agile framework and took some of these good stuff from the SAFe framework, but not directly kind of or strictly follow the rules from the SAFe. We reorganized actually the teams. We put together both developers together with the sales and marketing so they can collaborate even better. Then we assigned kind of new roles where all these leaders became business owners. Then we had the product managers and product owners and the developers team. And we decided also that the existing technology, what we were using, it was good enough. So there was no need to change anything there. Maybe just invest a little bit more in the new infrastructure and so on. So by some simple things, what we do, and we made a huge impact, but suddenly they realized that we are actually understanding, everybody understands the culture, and then they realized that actually agility and the whole idea about agility fit in our way of working and things what we would like to achieve in the future. And it took us 6 months actually that we start kind of rolling. But by doing this and understanding a learning culture first, and then go agile, for the first time in 7-8 years of the company's life, we defined it, shared and aligned the vision, why we exist, what we are trying to achieve, where we finally get a clear role and responsibility, and everybody knows what is going on. By applying some of these meetings from for example, Scrum, we actually minimize amount of meetings dramatically. We simply organized like 2 weeks sprint, and then they had meetings like sprint planning, sprint review, sprint retrospective, and some development teams also run this daily stand-up. But before we started, I made some calculation and figured out that they had catch-up meetings after catch-up meetings to catch up and so on. And I put everything in Excel sheet and calculated the amount of meeting, timing, and then how much it cost. And it was crazy. On weekly basis, I think they spend like, I don't know, maybe 70,000 US dollar for Canadian dollar. And when they saw the number, they couldn't believe it. But then by reducing all these unnecessary meetings, they actually start saving the money. Then for the first time also, by bringing more agility in organization, we also create more transparency. We created, by having the shared vision, we also had a shared roadmap where everybody knows where we, how we are progressing with the different deliveries and so on. And in the end, especially for developers, we reduce it significantly cycle time of deliveries. Where we started, where it took maybe months or something to deliver some work, but when we last time measured it in December, actually, in average took like 1 week to deliver a piece of the code and deploy it on production, and then we could present it also to our customers and receive their feedback. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments.
Just a quick question. I'm wondering if there are specific metrics that they were using to measure the impact of the culture.
Sorry, can you please repeat?
Were there specific metrics, productivity metrics, or whatever other business metrics that they were using to measure the impact of the culture?
We use it. Just simple metrics. What we focus on this cycle time, then reducing this meeting number, considering also the money we are spending. And then by having these values, what we defined it, every time when we had some discussion, and if some disagreement happened or something, we brought these values, say, okay, how that match with our organization values, and what are we missing something, or are we evaluating some of these values right now?
If I may, I would like to add a little bit. Where I am, we have actually a metric to evaluate the impact of the culture, and we do it through what is called a cultural health index, that is based on a series of surveys that are performed on a quarterly basis, and they are designed by data scientists to evaluate the impact in the 4 pillars that I briefly described. And based on the total number of respondents, they create a series of KPIs that are then discussed at the leadership level.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Alan, we have another question in the room and a hand up online, so we'll take the room.
Yes, please.
Just for you, Alan, do you think does Agile fit for all organizations, or we need to have much more dynamic approach after, of course, learning the culture of the company? Do you think?
No, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, so yeah. So do you think all organizations fit under the Agile umbrella?
I would say, if you consider the context organization and not thinking so much about the frameworks, but think this idea, inspect and adapt and feedback, then you can use some of these frameworks to support your way of working. And that's something I will actually present it in a second with this huge French company. Think about the context and don't push so much for all these frameworks, but see how these frameworks can support that we organize in a better way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I tried also in my current company, which is also a huge shipping company, where we start applying agility way of working in HR, in procurement, in sales as well, apart from the development team, and they like the idea.
Okay, we have one hand up online as well.
Yes, Ada.
Yes, this is Michael.
Oh my God.
I'm down in Colorado. And one of the comments that you made on one of your examples kind of sparked my interest. You mentioned that there was a team that was having multiple meetings. Were they using Scrum and having the meetings afterwards, or can you provide some context on that?
Yes. For example, we had product owners, 3-4 product owners, and apart from this Scrum meeting, then product owners spend time for each individual developer to catch up what we just spent kind of 2 hours during the planning meeting. Also, what do you need to catch up more?
Yeah.
But we need to clarify, and then, for example, for a leadership team, they met every week, and their kind of leadership meeting was not structured or organized without agenda. It was like left and right, and I brought agenda to them and asked them, okay, what's the purpose for this meeting? Do we need to make decision, or do we just need to chit chat? Then it's kind of waste of time. And I just put kind of random numbers how much they cost per hour. It's like $1,000 or $500. And when they saw the numbers, they, oh my God, it was crazy for them.
Okay. I've got a similar situation on my end here as well too. We're currently operating and functioning under I want to say a Scrum-like framework, but we do have the issues of we get one meeting after another meeting after the daily Scrum. We have another meeting, another parking lot session, all these leadership discussions. It's still happening, and it just sparked my interest that you had something similar, and I just wanted to know if they were actually operating a Scrum framework. Thank you.
Yeah. So just put what I learned, just put the numbers, okay, all of us, we cost $100 per hour, 10 hours for catch up, make the math. Then people start, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was the easiest way to do it. Trust me. Especially leadership, they are just looking in the money, and a nice draft.
Yep. With no agenda. That just makes me laugh. But thank you once again.
Exactly. You're welcome. Thank you for sharing and asking. So let's jump to this huge old
We have one
French
more question in the room.
also sorry. Go ahead.
I just have something to add on with it to avoid ad hoc meetings and to make more productive meetings, having less reoccurrence of the same sort of meeting. I think if anybody here from Amazon Web Services, Amazon AWS. So I think what AWS is following is like every person has to come up, if there is a meeting, has to come up with the minutes of meeting in additions to 3 ideas to the core problem. So 3 solutions, what you best think of. So I think that sort of approach, in addition to minutes of the meetings or the outcomes of the meeting, would help to drastically reduce the the recurrence meeting and make it more productive.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. For example, what I'm doing when I invite for the meeting, in the subject field, I write discussion or decision making or, whatever it is. And then I always have a purpose, agenda, and desired outcome. And then it's easier for people also to prepare and come prepare for the meeting. And when you mention Amazon, I know also that Amazon is also, when they start some meetings, everybody needs to bring the paper with agenda or some topic, and they spend, I think, first 10 minutes just to read what it's about, so everybody's aligned before they start going in discussion. Any other questions or comments?
I think we're good in here.
Okay, let me jump to the front. So I got a assignment for this huge French international old company. They would like to explore a little bit more agility and how they can bring agility more on the leadership level and what does it mean. So now I will share the case and actually one tools what we use it to measure cultural impact and outcome. So when I joined with them, they tried so many transformation, agile, and all it, and things just didn't work. It more people were pushing for these different agile framework, the more this organization was actually pushing back because people couldn't see how these frameworks can help them towards reaching their goal or strategic goals. And they believe actually that one of the main reasons it's about the system they are operating, and especially culture, which is almost 150 years or even more. So when I joined, then we start looking into what does it mean when they experience so many times this transformation was kind of failing or just stop it and just die. And then they discover actually that it's their responsibility to take a lead in some of these transformation. And by the way, I start using a word like evolution. What is the next in your next step in your evolution instead of transformation? Sometimes it's kind of misused, but they realize, okay, it's actually starting with us. If we want people to do something differently or in a different way, then actually we need to lead by example. And then they realize, okay, we need to look into our culture, how it is, how we understand our culture, how our employees understand our culture. And what we did with them, we used this competing value framework, if you are familiar with that, where you can actually identify your desired culture by the survey and some questionnaire, but you can also identify your desired culture. Where would you like to be in the next year or next 2 years? So we run the survey, not asking the leaders, but 2 levels actually below, and some of plant managers, people who are, sometimes I said, doing the real work. And what we discovered after this survey, that leaders say, we are just confirming these things that, we are pushing our people to deliver fast to our customers. We are busy, we have a crisis all the time, kind of firefighting. And then a quality focus on quality and everything needs to be perfect. That's kind of fast. Okay, we knew that. Okay, what's next? And then they discover actually that they are less focusing on their people, their employees. Also, they also have a nice values, people first, and so on. But this survey discover actually that's something is not right. What they think as a leader, but what actually employee thinks about organization. So this was kind of eye-opening for them to realize, okay, so actually we need to work to shape our culture, to bring more collaborative way of working and and create environment and space for our people so they can think and have a time for some small innovation, organize some innovation event and present that. And then I asked them, okay, but what else needs to be done? Then they said, okay, now we are realizing actually it is us as a leader that we need to adapt to something new and adjust our mindset and behavior. So we need to create environments for our people so they can thrive there. But then we also need, if we want to bring some more agility in organization, we also need to look about how we are organized, like our structure. What are some policies? Are some of these policies what we have in organization, are they actually preventing us to be more collaborative or more innovative? And how we are measuring actually success of our work. And we had a workshop where I facilitated this discussion with them and coached them through this discussion. And they defined actually 4 goals, what they would like to work. And this was last year, we started in August, and I was with them in January this year. And then actually some of these goals, or 3 out of 4 goals, actually they reach it. They want to kill the silo, like someone also mentioned in the beginning. Then they want to simplify some of these processes and policies or organization, and they start organizing like both the Gemba, but also dojo events where people from the different part organization come and share, and then leaders actually every quarter go to these different plants to see how people are working, trying to do something together with these people. When I heard that, I was really happy and surprised. And then agility. Now they understood where they are, where they would like to be. And then I asked them, okay, but what about all this idea about agile and agility? And I showed them for the first time, I showed them this agile values. Say, okay, you want to be more collaborative. Which of these agile value could fit and enable you and your organization to be more collaborative? And they'll, oh, but yeah, we should actually focus more on interaction and our people. We want people to stay here. Okay, but what about all this speed, what you have here in this corner? What does it mean? Yeah, but we need to be flexible, of course. We need to think about our people, but we need to uh, 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 tell our people that we should be flexible and responding to this change. Okay, then they look at in some of these policies, what they need to regarding their industry and compliance and so on. Say, okay, but let's look in some of these processes and policies, how that fit. And then of course they want always to deliver these products what they are producing. So showing when I showed them this agile value, it was like kind of aha. They got like a aha moment. So some of the leaders said, okay, if I not all these frameworks, and no, framework can support you, and nobody pushing you that you change your culture by bringing agility. It is about adapting your culture to new way of working where agility is as an enabler. And then, of course, they had a lot of things, but yeah, we are focusing on this and that. Some of these things cannot be done and so on. I say, okay, let's see all these values, Agile values, what we have from Agile Manifesto. How you see the world. And then they said, okay, but yeah, we want to focus on our customers, but then enabling this collaboration and the innovation, someone needs to take the ownership. Start trusting more to your people. Give them this mandate, and they will be accountable for what they are doing. Otherwise, you will not hire them right in the first place. So instead of changing something, we actually add end words which make sense for them. So yes, we will have this budget, just like, in the Agile value. Yeah, we will have some of these comprehensive documentation sometimes needed, but let's focus on this shared vision and impact and goal we are trying to achieve. Yes, we are always looking at how we can optimize different resources, but let's also check how it's our flow, how we can optimize our flow in delivery. They have these also nice values, but let's focus and let's create environments so we actually trust our people, not calling plant manager every half an hour. How is going with this production? Are we reaching the target? Trust your people. And then, of course, like every huge organization, there is always hierarchy in organization and status and so on. But then let's bring some of these events like Gemba or Dojo. So let's establish some more networks and let's share some of these success stories among each other, so people can learn and understand, okay, things actually can be done differently. And based on all these discussions, then actually they defined it to be this or to shape this new culture to support agility. They would like leaders to lead this evolution or transformation. So they defined it simply these kind of 5 core behaviors and expectations for the leaders they want to see. And when I was last time with them, actually they could feel different. But interesting thing was when I asked them, but what your people say about this? Then some leaders told me they were kind of surprised. Suddenly we are asking them for their input instead of telling them what to do. So also it's kind of that doing these things and shaping the culture for agility, we also should remember our people. That's also something new for them. Bring them together as well. And to summarize, I assume that I know everything about the Denmark. I also learned working with this smaller fintech company, bringing agility and aligning agility with the culture. We really need to consider the whole system because it will impact the system. And always start with the culture first. Learn about it if you are new. Understand what does it mean. Understand the organization values, what we have, and then start bringing some of these processes or some agile framework. And then by doing that, introduce these values, agile values, and also Scrum values, because it requires also the focus and courage and commitment to reach our goal. But then in what I experienced, when introducing these agile values and Scrum values, then people start connecting dots and don't get kind of scared just bringing some frameworks. Okay, kind of makes sense for us to enable more collaboration, but okay, but then we actually need to talk with each other and help each other and trust more to each other. So with that, I would really, really like to thank you for having me today. Of course, we will have a lot of questions, but there are a couple of QR codes here. If you want to connect with me on the LinkedIn, there is for download this presentation, and you can also visit my webpage. And if anyone is interested, I would like to offer you 1 hour free coaching session with you. So you can scan the code and you can book me in Calendly. Might be this time different, but if it's kind of too early for you and too late for me, just send me a message either on the LinkedIn, then we can organize something if you are interested.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Any questions from the room, comments?
Yes.
Too busy filling up your calendar. How about anyone online?
I have a question for you, Alan. Thank you for the presentation. I'm curious in your experience here, that notion of if you push the culture, you'll get the resistance. It seems almost inevitable that will happen, that the force of the group that wants agility or a new culture or something will inevitably meet the group that doesn't want the change. How in your experience, how does one navigate that dilemma that will inevitably occur?
Yes. What I learned and what I'm applying to minimize this resistance, I start by asking what is already working in organization. And then people bring all this good stuff, what is already working. And then I say, okay, this is actually something what we should keep. This will remain the same. Some other things will change to support us so we can even strengthen more these things which are working. And that's helped me. And then of course you will always have people who are resisting. And then I bring a little bit kind of coaching style. I say, okay, can you tell me more why you don't think that will work, or what are you concerned about? And what I learned is people usually kind of don't understand the purpose of the change, the impact of the change, especially for them as a humans. Then I try to explore these organizations and then keep communication open all the time, and encouraging local leaders who are driving this change to communicate progress of the change on weekly or monthly basis, depending how big change it is. Then you create kind of more, if I can call it, safe space for people and minimize this resistance.
Awesome.
Thank you for asking.
Right, Dan, are you able to show the QR code on screen?